What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there.
Sorry, I'm getting penalized here for finger guns.
How we doing today, Casino?
Doing okay. I'm thinking that I might have a kidney stone again.
Kidney stone.
They suck. Yeah, it's starting to. My whole side is starting to get a little sore. So we'll see. It's gonna be fun. This will be number 5 in my life.
Oh my god.
Yeah, don't get kidney stones.
Kidney
Fam.
stones. What's that from? Kidney stones.
I'm not sure.
Friends.
Oh.
When Joey goes and gets a kidney stone.
I haven't watched Friends in forever. I watched it all the way through, like when it was coming out, when I was like a child.
Yeah. When you were coming out?
Yeah, when I was coming out. But yeah, I haven't watched any of it since.
I'll tell you what, people shit on it. It's a good show. People just like to shit on popular things.
It's just an older sitcom, so you have the laugh track, and like it's very sitcom.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I like laugh tracks in shows.
My entire my family has the entire thing on VHS, all the seasons.
Yeah, that used to be the only show me and my mom could watch together, which also might give credence to the fact of people saying it's not a funny show because my mom finds it funny.
Yeah, one of the shows that I watched with my mom was Game of Thrones. Yeah,
I watched that show with your mom too.
Yeah, it was the weird sex scenes portion too. That was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah. Those are the only scenes I enjoyed watching with your mom. But we are here today, Casino. I don't know if you heard or not, but there is a game being played on Sunday. Let me look at my notes. It's apparently called the Super Bowl.
Stop hitting that chord there, because every time you hit that chord, I'm getting home bouncy.
But yeah, the Super Bowl is, 4 days away. It feels like Commanders, Eagles, and Chiefs, Bills was 6 months ago.
Well, it doesn't feel like there's been a lot of talk about anything just because because
NBA
the NBA stuff.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Also, speaking of Jimmy Butler, as you know, my favorite NBA player, traded to the Golden State Warriors, which also, I don't think he handled the Miami thing correctly, but if him and Steph Curry had like a last ride to the NBA Finals.
It's funny. You still say that. There's still some people thinking that Durant is going to go back.
I know. Well, that's the big rumor today. The trade deadline ends, I believe, in a couple hours.
Yeah.
So,
so we might get some live footage here of, or you know what I mean?
Breaking news.
Thank you.
Actually, I'm going to pull up. That is a good point because I'm going to pull up NBA trade deadline, on the clock thing so it's today at noon. Oh no, it already passed.
So Durant's not gone.
Yeah, let's see. No, there's nothing. Marcus Smart was traded. DeAndre Hunter.
Smart getting just sent around like.
Well, no, it was Schroeder who literally got traded in, I believe, the Jimmy Butler trade. He's been traded, I think, every trade deadline for the past 6-7 years. So, but yeah, as of 52 minutes ago when we're recording this, Kevin Durant stays with the Suns. After rejecting Warriors. So I wonder if he rejected it or he got rejected on. I don't know. Again, we've been setting this up for an hour, so we kind of missed the final fallout of the NBA trade deadline. But, Casino, we can talk about the trade deadline on Tuesday's episode because today we are talking about the Super Bowl. I don't even know. Honestly, I don't even know why they're playing the game. Everybody's just picking the Chiefs. The Chiefs are just going to win. I've seen there's been a million fucking screenshots of just where it's a show of 4 people, a show of 3 people, a show of 5 people, all Chiefs just across the board. When did it turn this season that people started to act like the Chiefs were good this year? Because up until 2 months ago, everybody said
was until they made the Super Bowl, and then I'm like, okay, I guess.
Yeah, because
what I love is this media week has been just outstanding. I love the amount of older players coming on out talking about how bad this officiating has been towards the Chiefs. Like, I love T.O. Have you seen T.O.'s whole thing about it?
No. What did T.O. say?
You can't trust the integrity of the game. What else did he say? He goes, I think the NFL saw dollar signs the second Taylor Swift started getting in the bed with the Chiefs. It's 100% true.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are or what you think of the game or this, that. I mean, Taylor Swift bringing a whole new fan base in to watch football. Great. That's great. Because now it's more people to talk to about it. That's cool. However, it's so one-sided and it's bad and you can see it and everybody's talking about it.
Yeah. But again, you look at the Chiefs again, I just don't understand let's even go after their bye week.
Yeah.
After their bye week, they win 28-18 against the 49ers. Okay, impressive. They win by 7 points against the Raiders. They win by 6 points in OT against the Bucks. They win by 2 points against the Broncos on that blocked field goal. They lose to the Bills. They win by 3 points against the Panthers, win by 2 points against the Raiders, win by 2 points against the Chargers, win by 14 against the Browns, win by a touchdown against the Texans, blow out the Steelers, then obviously all their backups get blown out by Broncos. What portion of that did all of a sudden everybody just go, oh, they're clearly the best team. They're clearly going to win the three-peat.
Record. It's because everybody sees their record.
Yeah, you go back and look at the games.
And most people who say they're going to repeat, like myself, or three-peat, I'm saying it because the refs are in bed with them. I'm with T.O. on this. And it's so blatantly obvious.
It's just, again, you look at the trajectory of of this Chiefs team. They blew out.
Sorry, I just saw what you posted about the Super Bowl party, the picture of Mahomes and the ref kissing from AI. That's really good. And Barkley,
as a saint.
A saint.
We're throwing a Super Bowl party, or we might not be. I don't know. I kind of want to go to the Eagles bar as a redemption because so far at the Eagles bar,
no, you got to switch it up.
1-1.
No, but
they're 1-1.
But you got to switch it up.
But see,
so they're 1-1. But who did they play last time?
The Chiefs.
They didn't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the team they lost.
Right. So you got to mix it up. So anytime that they play the Patriots and Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, you go to the bar. Anytime they're playing the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, you got to switch it up now.
Or no. You know what? You know why the Eagles lost last time? It is a cardinal sin casino.
It's okay to look at me.
Well, this is directed at you.
Okay, then look at me.
It is a cardinal sin to leave the Super Bowl halfway through the game. Who at this table was the only one in our group who left during the game?
Halfway through the game? No, yes. I left after the horrible holding call the phantom holding call.
That's not true because I called. No, that's not true because I called you after the holding call. You left before that, and then the holding call happened.
No, I honestly thought I left at that because you're about to start crying.
No.
And you were so frustrated. I'm like, I'm going to leave before this gets bad.
No. Yeah. Also, I rewatched that Super Bowl at work or whatever and first off, the thing that needs to be under this is just going to be free-flowing conversation about the Super Bowl, right? So the thing that needs to be like, you know, how we always do that thing where you look at performances or games or people with rose-colored glasses and all that kind of stuff. The rewriting of history of Jalen Hurts, it is being talked about with Jalen Hurts as if he already hasn't played the Chiefs and had his best career game against them. I keep seeing so many like quote unquote analysts, so many like TV personalities, so many like football people just being like, well, you know, Steve Spagnuolo, he's the best blitzing coach in the league. Like, how is Hurts going to handle that? Hurts is the 30th worst quarterback against the blitz. And it's like, hey, idiots, did everybody watch the Super Bowl where this already happened? This matchup already happened. And guess what? Hurts had his best professional game passing. You could also probably say running. Best professional game as a quarterback against this coordinator. With, again, a run game that got them 40 yards in the game if it wasn't him running it. So, like this, also, what is it? Hurts has already beat the Chiefs. Do you want to know what Hurts's record is against the AFC? Because I also keep seeing, I keep also seeing this narrative, like, if the Eagles were in the AFC, oh man, they'd get killed. Hurts's record against the AFC is 14-1.
It's pretty good.
Last time I checked, that's a pretty good record. And you'll never guess the only quarterback he lost to. This is regular season because obviously the only AFC team he's played in the postseason.
How many years ago?
This was 2 years ago.
Ryan Tannehill?
No, worse.
I don't know.
A worse quarterback than that. That motherfucker
Oh,
What is it?
our boy, Zach Wilson.
Jets. Zach Wilson is the only quarterback
Our
in
boy.
the AFC to ever beat Hurts outside of the Super Bowl, obviously, where he lost to Mahomes. So with the Super Bowl, which is a really funny stat, he has beat Joe Burrow. He's beat Lamar Jackson. He's beat Josh Allen. He's beat Patrick Mahomes because obviously they had that regular season matchup where the Eagles won. The only quarterback in the AFC he's never beaten the regular season is Zach Wilson, which is a very funny stat. And that was because that Jets defense absolutely annihilated the Eagles that day. That was when they still had Saleh and they were literally like a top 5 defense. So, but yeah. If so, 14-2 record in the AFC. He's 1-1 against Mahomes, has beaten every quarterback. And then I've also seen the narrative like, well, who would you rather have? Justin Herbert or Jalen Hurts? Like, I don't know.
I'm gonna take Jalen Hurts all day.
His best professional game was in the Super Bowl, and one guy is throwing 4 interceptions against the Texans. So in the wild card round.
See, I mean, now you know how I felt when the Patriots lost that Super Bowl against the Eagles, because Brady had one of the greatest postseason games of all time, and he still lost.
I know, and that also
that's why that's so frustrating.
But when you look at this matchup, Casino, on paper, the second best rushing attack in the league is the Eagles, only behind, obviously, the Ravens. The number 1 defense in the league is the Eagles. Chiefs are number 9 in the league. Chiefs are also 22nd in the league in rushing. And then Eagles 8th in the league in total offense. Chiefs 16th in the league in total offense. Passing, the Eagles are 29th in passing, obviously because Hurts has the least yards he's ever had. He also missed a couple games. You know, they're obviously a run-heavy offense. But that's Chiefs,
when they found their identity after going 2-2.
Yeah, the Chiefs, last time I checked, had Patrick Mahomes, and he's allotted as the best passer in the league, right? They finished the league as the 14th best passing offense in the league.
Yeah.
So,
but you want to know something though? They're number 1 in the refs' hearts.
The last meeting these two teams played was not the Super Bowl. It was a regular season game, November 20th, 2023, in Kansas City. The Eagles won that game 21-17. So, yeah. So that was the year after the Super Bowl, and that was them getting their comeuppance. But this will be the real comeuppance. Legitimately, the games the Chiefs have played in the playoffs, Casino, they played, and also I keep hearing this because the Chiefs in the offseason, or in the postseason, I mean, they played a 23-14 game against the Texans. Texans were the worst team in the playoffs. No matter who they played, everybody was picking them as a one and done. And then they upset the Chargers because obviously Herbert threw 4 interceptions. And then all I had to hear the next day was, if you're selling your Justin Herbert stock, like, I'll take it. He's the best quarterback in the league, despite throwing 4 interceptions in the wild card against the worst team in the playoffs. But then after that, they win 32-29 against the Bills.
Are we in the red? I mean, you're yelling pretty good.
Actually, no. We're still good.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
we're still learning things on the fly. I just want to double check things.
Yeah, I calibrated it just perfectly. But the conference championship, they win 32-29 with, 12 plays that have now gone viral. You can go look at threads on X or on any profile online that shows, the Bills, the announcers are saying the running back got 11 yards on this carry, but they're spotting him as a 9-yard carry. Just weird shit like that, where it's not even objectionable, right? But then, what is it? So they win again. They win against the worst team that got into the playoffs, the Texans, and then they win by 3 or 4 points against the Bills. The Eagles win by 14 against the Packers. Not good enough, right? Everybody after that game was like, they didn't even look good. That was a bad game. They won by 2 touchdowns, and people are still like, not a good game. Not a good game against the Packers. They win by 6 points, 6 points against the Rams in a blizzard. Again, not good enough.
You good?
Not good enough. Yeah. And then they blow out the Commanders by I don't know, 30 points, 32 points, I believe it was. I don't have it pulled up right here. They blow them out by 32 points. Again, everybody just goes, well, it's a rookie quarterback. Despite everyone picked the Packers to beat the Eagles. Everyone picked the Rams to beat the Eagles.
No.
Everyone
I said those were
picked
going
the
to be close games.
Commanders.
I picked the Eagles every time. I just said they were
Well,
close
you're
games.
not. I don't count you as everyone, Casino. I count you as my
Counsel?
co-host, my friend, my secret lover. But these are not so secret anymore. I know. But no, it's just I don't understand like where this narrative is coming from, where it's just like, oh, Eagles have no shot. Eagles have no shot.
Because it's again, it's because it's the Chiefs. It's because they can make history with the three-peat. It's because of like they're
also every time you say three-peat, you better pay Pat Riley money because he owns that trademark. Did you hear about that?
No.
He owns after I believe it was after the Lakers won their third championship, he got the patent for three-peat.
Wow.
So the Chiefs, and obviously everybody was like, this is bulletin board material, but it was also kind of like, what else are they going to do? He licensed out three-peat to the Chiefs just in case they win this game. But he owns the patent to it. Pat Riley.
That's hot.
That's crazy.
That's hot. That's hot.
But yeah,
I'm gonna try to just start saying everything people have patents on. Like,
I know you love New York. I heart New York. I know that's a big one.
But
and then we're gonna end this show by singing "Happy Birthday." But yeah, I just don't. Again, you take with how much shit, and you've showed me videos, I've showed you videos of like Chiefs players being asked about, you know, like the refs and the calls and shit like that. You were right. Mahomes handled it great. Travis Kelce, I don't think did, but also Travis Kelce is again like the outlier in everything where he's just allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants. He can taunt everybody, not get a penalty. Somebody looks at him for 2 seconds too long and he gets a penalty.
It was great. Yeah. So you had this random YouTuber, whatever social media guy. Somehow he got a pass to go and talk to him. And I love it. He goes, first thing he asked Patrick Mahomes was, oh man, I forget. He talks about the refs and, you know, who's your favorite ref? And he was like, oh, you know, they're all good. You know, they do their best, you know, very professional, but he's smiling because he knows that it's the guy's trying to fish for something. And then the second question was, who's your favorite ref to send a Christmas card to? And Patrick Mahomes still handled that pretty good. He was just like, you know, I don't think I have any of them. You know, I'll have to get with the team and we'll have to discuss that. And like, he's just smiling about it because he knows, you know, he knows the guy's fishing for something, and being silly about it too. But then the next one, it shows Travis Kelce. Being asked, what do you love more, Taylor Swift or Phantom 15-yard roughing the passer calls? And he's like, that's a good question. Anybody else? Like, he was so pissed off about it. There's so many questions about the refs, and Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he handled it with grace, and, you know, he knows that people are fishing, and, you know, good on him, whatever, you know. I still believe that, you know, obviously the refs are a part of it, but yeah, good on him for handling it. I think Travis, it might be a little too close to home for Travis because of the Taylor Swift.
Yeah, well, also the second you throw, like, again, but that's one of those things where he's just going to be the victim in all of it, right? Like, it's just like, oh my God, how could you ask this millionaire about his girlfriend and what everybody's talking about?
It's insane because I like Jason Kelce so much.
Yeah,
I think he's outstanding in person.
I just found out, did you know he has a talk show on ESPN now?
Yeah, it starts to show
like
up really late night.
Yeah.
It's really silly. He's wearing his genie outfit constantly. It's great. I just
found that out. I mean, I'll never watch it, but I'm glad he has
you
one.
should. It's pretty funny. There was a beer chugging competition that they had for one of them, and it was very famous Bengals guy. You've probably seen him plenty. It was the guy that has the beard and he's got the beer
like
cans.
A fan?
Yeah, so it was all fans, and he had the Bengals guy. He has beer cans like rolled up in his beard. It's really cool. But there was 4 guys doing a chug, and I was like, it's gonna be the tall, skinny guy. And they started showing stories about all of them and like their beer chugging ability. And they got to the skinny guy, and he's one of those people that can do that chug where
you
just
you open your throat,
just opens the throat and it just goes.
In. Yeah,
he just
Casino did that a lot in high school.
It did.
but not for beer.
Yeah, I can't do it anymore after the accident, but it's okay.
Not so secret anymore.
Not so secret anymore. A lot of secrets coming out.
But no, his show's worth watching.
I haven't seen no audio of it because I see it at work, but he has guests on it and like well-known people, and it seems silly. They did a trivia question, like who knows Jason best one, and it was just like 4 fans like doing trivia, like on the spot. Like it seems interesting. It seems like it'd be a good show. You should be into it.
Yeah, but I'm also one of those people that when it's like
you just don't like late night talk shows unless it's Conan.
Well, that's true. I mean, I think that format died when Conan left.
Yeah, I mean, you even styled your hair after him.
That's true. I got it going on right now. But what is it? No, I just think that as long as he doesn't get political, everything was ruined when Trump got elected. And I don't even mean like the economy or politics or anything. I mean comedy. Like mainstream comedy after he got elected just took a giant shit. And now it's all just late night is just nonstop talking about politics. And it's just like, I liked Conan.
I think that was going to happen either way, bud.
Yeah, but I like Conan just always stayed clear of it. He just did funny stuff. It was like, that's what I want to watch. Like even David Letterman. Like, well, I mean, all do funny shit
really,
too.
Everybody's no late night talk shows are good anymore.
But see, I used to like Jimmy Kimmel. I really used to like Jimmy Kimmel, and then he just went 100% into politics
because he signed his life away because he got a whole bunch of money to do so. Same with Howard Stern. He changed all of his points and all of his point of views.
Yeah,
everything. And he started talking about politics. I mean, I know you don't like Jimmy Fallon, but I know you don't like Jimmy Fallon, but at least he still does bits and whatnot, and
That's true. I just don't think he's funny, but I don't like Jimmy Fallon because
you want to know why I don't like Jimmy Fallon? I don't like Jimmy Fallon because he laughs too much at his own shit.
Yeah, I think that's why everyone doesn't like him.
Yeah,
or he laughs too much at when people just say like,
I could like
so. I was at the store the other day, and he'd be like, "No, you weren't. No, you weren't."
I couldn't stand him on Saturday Night Live. He broke way too easily.
Yeah, I do. However, I will shout out to Jimmy Fallon for those Paul Rudd recreation music videos that they did, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I don't know if they even still do them. I ran across those on YouTube.
Yeah,
those are fantastic.
There was a day where we were starting our podcast, and he sent me the link, so I opened the link, and I'm waiting for him on our recording site, and he just put that up because he was gone doing something, and I watched it on loop, and it was outstanding.
And also, I found out that's really Paul Rudd singing. So he's Paul Rudd. But again, that's not a shout out. Actually, I take back my shout out. That's not a shout out to Jimmy Fallon. That's a shout out to Paul Rudd because he made the whole thing.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Man, everybody loves Paul Rudd.
Who doesn't?
Except Segu back. Paul Rudd is a diehard Chiefs fan. So I hope Paul Rudd, I hope you're sad on Sunday.
Yeah.
I hope. But outside of your taste in football teams, I think you're great.
Yeah.
But now Casino.
Did you see the? Speaking of the fans, did you see the Meredith one from The Office?
Yeah, I sent it to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't remember it. But she's like talking about like we're gonna beat them and we're gonna just keep moving the ball inch by inch and slowly get in there. And she's like, "That's what she said." And like gets back, like, "Oh, it's so good," something like that.
Yeah. Shout out to the Office people. I feel like all of them are Eagles fans because it took place in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
But all right, Casino,
all right,
we promised we would do this position by position breakdown. Again, the obvious one, I feel like the two obvious ones are the quarterback and the head coach, where it goes to Chiefs, obviously, for both of those. But when you say it like that, I feel like people give Mahomes way too much credit, especially after this season he's had, and Hurts they give him way too much criticism based on, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know why he gets shit on so much just as a quarterback. Like, what does Hurts do that is so bad compared to what other quarterbacks do that are so good? He doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
he's one of the best. He's one of the best and most accurate deep ball throwers in the league. And yes, he holds on to the ball too long, but And I feel like that was the thing against Caleb Williams. That's the thing against Burrow. Like that's the thing against Stafford and Allen. That's always a criticism of those type of players. But again, Hurts holds on to the ball too long because if he doesn't see anything he likes, he can scramble. Right. Yeah. So again, I'm going to ask you the question, even though it's obvious. You taking Mahomes or you taking Hurts?
I'm going to take Mahomes. But
yeah,
gosh, I got to find this for you because this is going to piss you off. Right. No, yeah, go for it. Keep talking.
No, so I just think, again, when you look at the numbers this year, Hurts missed, I believe, 2, maybe 3 games this year, but Mahomes played the entire season, 67% completion percentage, 3,900 yards passing, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That screams mid. That's like the most middling, obviously the least impressive Mahomes season statistically since I believe his rookie year. But yeah, 26 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Hurts, 69%
nice
completion percentage, 2,900 yards, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So again, you add three more games in there. Let's say he throws in those 3 games, let's say he throws 6 touchdowns. He doesn't turn the ball over. So if he would have thrown 6 more touchdowns, he would have been what? 24 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, probably closer to 3,500 yards.
So this is gonna piss you off. You know how much I love Colin Cowherd. I love him, and I told you that he did that top 10 players list. Did you see it?
Well, hold on. Side note: did you see that he had to leave his show early, like a couple days ago, because he got like food poisoning?
Yeah, no, he was sick. Yeah, I was listening to that show, and it was the other.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and
I don't listen to him.
They had J Mac do the whole show.
Oh, okay.
And they had J Mac do that show, and then the next show they had oh my gosh, the people that come on after him typically. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't watch Fox Sports.
Again, I'm driving around. I'm listening to it.
I don't watch Fox Sports 1. I don't watch The Herd. I do really like The Volume. His YouTube, Empire or whatever. That is a good network, and the shows on there are actually really good.
Rich and Covino, Rich and Covino, though they took over. But anyway, so Colin's top 10 players in the Super Bowl. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. 2, Saquon Barkley. 3, Chris Jones.
So far, I don't disagree.
Right?
Yeah.
This is where it gets crazy. Jalen Carter.
I don't disagree.
Jordan Mailata, or however you say his name.
Yeah. I feel like when you start getting into offensive linemen, that's where it's kind of more like a unit.
Well, that was 5.
Go on.
6, Joe Tooney. 7, A.J. Brown. 8, Trent McDuffie. 9, Zach Bond. 10, Jalen Hurts. We're just keeping going down the line, dude.
Again, and then I also saw, again, I think
Mahomes 1, Hurts 10.
Woo! Again, I don't watch any of those shows, but I know
I listen to him.
I don't listen to him either, but the Nick Wright, whatever show he's on, I know they change names like every week or whatever show he's on. I saw a screen cap where he does his little mountain thing or whatever, where, it's just a session. It should just be called the Patrick Mahomes suck off sessions, where he, literally that's all just, I even think the mountain's called Patrick Mahomes Mountain Mahomes or whatever the fuck it is. So I just know that I saw a screenshot of somebody who posted it, and at the bottom of the mountain, it was Jalen Hurts. At the top of the mountain, it was Patrick Mahomes. So again, I don't even know why we're playing the game. That's basically where I'm coming from. It is just going to be Mahomes and the Chiefs, who are now just the perennial favorites on everybody's list, even though a month ago, every topic on TV or radio was like, what's wrong with the Chiefs? What happened to the Chiefs? Why can't they produce points? Why can't they score more than 20 points a game?
I need to get off Facebook. That's been I'm just zoned in over
I know, but it's just it's garbage. So obviously in the debate, Hurts, Mahomes, it's what is it? It's Mahomes. But again, people are like, is Jalen Hurts a top 25 quarterback in this league? Guess what? Ridiculous. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league.
Because he's a dual threat. I'll take a dual threat all day.
Yeah. The only 3 quarterbacks he is behind, I would put him at 4.
And you know what? I think, and the only reason I think he's getting so much crap is because he lost to Mahomes in that Super Bowl.
Which, again, everybody does except Tom Brady.
You flip that narrative, You flip that narrative, he wins and Mahomes loses that Super Bowl. You're obviously people are going to still say Mahomes is better, but Jalen Hurts is going to be on a whole new level because he won a Super Bowl against Mahomes.
Yeah. Oh, that is actually the question I had written down that I was going to ask you, Casino. What does this Super Bowl victory, let's say the Eagles do and will win on Sunday, what does that do for the legacy defining change for three people specifically? Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, and Saquon Barkley.
Barkley, he will go down as one of the best running backs to ever play the game.
Yes.
And he's already a Hall of Famer right now.
I think so too. I've heard people say no, but he was
the only good thing about that Giants team. Only good thing. Yeah. And then look what he just did this year, his first time away from that Giants team.
Well, yeah, and he has probably 5 more years, 4 more years he's in his prime.
In his prime. And I'm tired of everybody saying, oh, it's because of that O-line, it's because of that O-line. Okay, give the O-line credit. That's fine. Give that O-line credit. But what he's still doing is insanity because he still has to have the speed. He still has to have the awareness, the sight, and everything to do what he needs to do.
Well, also, this Eagles O-line has been this O-line for 5 years now. They've had other running backs, and none of them have come close to rushing for 2,000 yards.
So, and then, so the next one, you said Sirianni?
Yes.
I don't know. It's still out on him.
Again, I don't understand the Sirianni hate. I don't. And again, this is coming from somebody who is like, he'll probably be fired this season. And guess what?
You really think
I was wrong?
If he wins the Super Bowl, he'll be fired?
No. I said at the beginning of the season when it was like 2-2. And how
what
last
did I tell
happened.
you then? What did I tell you then when we were going into week 5? I know you don't because you don't pay attention to me. But I said 2-2 is nothing. 2-2, you're figuring out your season. How many times has the Patriots come back and won a Super Bowl starting off the season 2-2?
Well, the Eagles are going to also do it this year. Yeah.
So it happens. Like 2-2, I'm not worried. If you're like 2-4, yeah, I'd be a little nervous. Even 2-3, I think you're okay. But 2-2, that is nothing. You're 500 at the beginning of the season, and you can just roll off wins. You might not get the number 1 seed overall. It might not happen. Didn't happen. But you can crush it, and you can still make. And sometimes that's good for a team. I think it helped the Eagles to play an extra game than the Chiefs.
I think so too. I think momentum-wise, yeah.
And then you said Jalen Hurts. I think it would. I honestly just think that'll make Jalen Hurts finally and indisputably a top 5 quarterback in the league.
I think right now he's no lower than 5
because of his numbers. Everybody's like, oh well, his passing numbers went down because they found their identity come week 5, and that's running. They are a running team now. They got Saquon Barkley. They got the best O-line in the league. They can run the ball. But guess what? Those passes that he's still throwing to Smith down the sideline, throwing to Brown all the way down.
Dimes.
They're
dimes. They're dots.
They're so good.
What do you think, just give me a ballpark of what you think his worst game was this season in terms of turnovers, anything like that?
Worst game of the season when he got knocked out because he didn't know how to protect himself.
Well, it was also a dirty helmet-to-helmet hit that no flag was called, but the player was fined after the game. So I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
But
let's see here. Was it the game that he lost against Tampa?
Let's see. So in the Tampa Bay game, that is actually a good call.
Thank you.
The Tampa Bay game.
You loaded it up. I answered. Okay.
Let me see. I don't know. Tampa Bay. So in that game, he was 18 for 30, 158 yards, 1 touchdown passing, 1 touchdown rushing.
So I thought you had the answer to this already.
Oh, I do.
Okay, well, what's the answer?
The worst game he's had all season was week 1 against the Green Bay Packers.
That was very close because that was early on.
So the worst 2 games he's had the entire season were within the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And the Packers game, he still threw for almost 300 yards, had 2 interceptions.
And what have we known about the Packers all season? They're not there yet offensively, but they got a great young defensive team. Yeah. So you're still figuring out your season? There you go. I mean that Packers team was really good. They were on the cusp all season of beating the top teams.
Yeah.
Like they're a good team. So to lose to them in week 1, okay.
Yeah. Also,
that's fine. You're figuring out you hadn't found your identity. You're still figuring shit out. So that's why to answer your initial question, I think those are the 3 answers. And what it would do to Patrick Mahomes, I'm throwing this one in there, nothing.
I don't think so either. Everybody already says it's him, it's Brady, and then him. If he wins his 4th Super Bowl, he's not going to be ahead of Brady because Brady has 7.
And
so
Brady
he's
beat
going
him head to head. There's no, unless Patrick Mahomes rifles off, and I'm being serious here, rifles off, he has to do, I would say 9, even in my opinion, to be better than Brady.
I think he has to do 8. Because then I think you can just go, well, the thing we remember Tom Brady for is winning Super Bowls, and Patrick Mahomes won one more.
Okay.
Then I know you can do the head-to-head.
The head-to-head. He's Brady's 2-0 on him.
I know.
Won in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl.
But that's what I'm saying. I think the argument can be made if he wins 7 and then retires with 7, then you can go, well, Brady's
Mahomes,
better.
I mean, the whole ref thing aside, just stature-wise and size, there's no way Mahomes could have played in the 2000s to 2018.
Yeah,
17.
But also, wait, to put
whenever Mahomes, I don't remember when Mahomes entered the league.
Before we get to the Brady Mahomes discussion, to put a button on this Hurts thing, the last time he threw an interception, do you want to take a guess?
Hurts?
Yes.
Week 13.
I don't know. I don't have the weeks. But the last time he threw an interception was November 3rd, 2024. November. The first 3 days into November. We're 5 days into, or we're 6 days into February when we're recording this.
Better knock on wood,
That's
please.
the last time he threw an interception.
Knock on wood. 1, 2, 3.
I'm knocking it.
That was way too many times.
I do superstition. I do 5 times 5 times.
Okay.
On wood. So I'll be over here quietly knocking. But yeah. So the last time he threw an interception, when's the last time Mahomes threw an interception? Oh, last game.
That didn't get called back.
Exactly. He threw an interception. Also, Mahomes threw. I also rewatched because I told you guys on our last episode that we just have YouTube at my work because my work is dumb. But so now I've just been rewatching all the Super Bowls.
That was week 9.
Thank you. So, yes, last interception he's thrown is week 9. Now he has fumbled since then. Yes, but again, he fumbled in the Rams game where it was the snow and he was being like carried, and they got that fumble back. So the fumbles are an issue, and obviously that's the thing.
What are you fumbling down there right now?
I did fumble the pen, but the fumble in the Super Bowl is the one thing that gets brought up as a like, oh well, he lost them that Super Bowl, even though
it's right by your foot.
I know. I can't see it.
It's just reach down and touch your foot.
Touch
your toes. I know it's tough.
But it is tough. The older we get, casino, man.
I know. I'm talking about kidney stones to start the game.
Yeah.
Don't get kidney stones. They suck. Drink plenty of water and make sure you don't have a lot of sodium.
But no,
that's my health awareness of the day.
The fumble in the Super Bowl, people forget, and people I feel like again like switch the narrative. The Eagles were up 10 points after that fumble.
Yeah.
Like after that fumble, they scored another 10 unanswered points, and then the Chiefs came back because again, that defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. And also watching that Super Bowl, first off, because I literally just watched it last night. The announcers are like, oh no, that's not a hold. Like, that's not a hold. Like, we can't end this kind of game on that kind of call. And then when it gets called a hold, they're just like, I mean, there is a little tough, but you hate to see it. And it's that's how everyone felt.
But the announcers, they have to say that. They
have
have to say that.
Well,
or they don't say anything. And that's what I've loved all season this year is when things have been happening, they literally just, it goes blank. Like, they don't talk.
Except for, and this is why I have a lot of respect for Troy Aikman and Joe Buck, because in that Chiefs-Bills game, they were, or no, not the Chiefs-Bills game. It was, I think it was Chiefs-Texans. One of the two games they did, they were calling out everything and just being like, that is ridiculous. That's why everybody like is like giving the league shit and like stuff like that. Like, props to, I will give a shout out to Troy Aikman and Joe Buck because they were the only ones that actually called it out. But
I do like that duo behind the desk.
I tell you what, they've grown on me, especially when you get just shit commentators. Like, I know let's go back to Tom Brady. Tom Brady's going to call this Super Bowl.
You know what? I think he's getting a little better. It's going to take some time. I don't think he's going to be a great commentator. Don't get me wrong. I love the guy. You can
tell he's too buttoned up.
He is.
He needs to like
loosen up, and that's why
be an asshole. Be an asshole.
But that's why I like Tony Romo, because Tony Romo gets on and he's just like, I was so against Tony Romo doing it just because, Romo Cowboys.
Yeah,
I like Tony Romo when he calls games because he's there just like having a fun time. He's doing what Tom Brady's doing, and he's calling out the next plays, or hey, they should have done this. This is what I would have seen as a quarterback. This or that. But he's just like laid back about it. I like that.
Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. Do you want to guess how many playoff wins Tom Brady retired with?
Playoff wins?
Playoff wins.
I just saw I just saw touchdowns. Brady has 88 touchdowns and Mahomes has 45. Saw that in their career in playoff touchdowns. Let's see here. How many games?
So now the second, I'll give you a hint. The second was Joe Montana at 16 until Patrick Mahomes won against the Bills. Now he's second at 17.
No, I'm going to call it 48.
That is, you're way off. He has 35.
It's not way off.
So you're 48 to 35. That is way off. But
this wins, right?
Yes, just wins, not playoff appearances. So playoff appearance
games, a lot.
Yeah. So Mahomes is second with 17, which means that if they keep getting the number 1 seed, that means they play 3 games every postseason. I don't have a calculator on me, but that's going to take him, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That would basically take him 7 seasons if they win every Super Bowl in every season and get a first round bye.
Ha! So Tom Brady holds the NFL records for the most playoff wins by a quarterback, 35, and for most playoff games started, 48. Boom!
Oh, that's good. So yeah. So
I knew there was an answer in there with the 48. I'm good.
If Patrick Mahomes wins, if he wins 3 games for the next 8 years, he passes Tom Brady. All 3 games in the postseason.
No. Because I told you, as soon as him and Travis Kelce split, that's going to be a downgrade. And then also when he splits with Andy Reid, going to be a downgrade. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Look what happened with Brady and Belichick, right? Belichick had a downgrade. Brady still went on and won, but then he came back for that other season and it wasn't so great. But yeah, he had marital issues. But anyway, I really do think that as soon as Andy Reid is gone, or even Travis Kelce, his security blanket, his numbers are going to drop. Because how many 3rd downs, how many 4th downs do you see that where do they go? Who do they go to? They go to Travis Kelce, and somehow he's wide open. Every 3rd down, every third down
pass, I feel like he's just in the middle of the field.
So that's what I'm getting at. Is as soon as Travis is gone, which could be this year. He's old. He's talked about it. You got to a Super Bowl, you just missed out again. Especially if Andy Reid's like, I'm getting too old for this shit as well. There's talks about him leaving. So
also you think if the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, they won't. But if you think if they do win, he retires after.
I think both Andy Reid and Travis Kelce can retire.
I don't think Reid retires.
You don't think Reid retires?
This season,
he's talked about his health plenty.
I know. I don't think he retires after this season.
Even if they win.
Even if he wins.
I wouldn't think you would do the Peyton Manning thing and just ride out on a win.
No.
You think Travis would?
I think Travis Kelce. I think
especially after Travis proposes and then he's like, "Oh, I'm going to go live my life now and be the superstar boyfriend. Just do the thing."
Yeah, I think so. Right now, what is it? Andy Reid is 66 years old. Okay, I think he doesn't retire until he's 70. So I think he goes 4 more years.
That's fine. Age is not the issue with him.
Well, yeah, but I think
his health, and he's talked about that.
Yeah, I think no, I don't think I think there's zero. I would put it at 0% chance Andy Reid retires after this season. With Kelce, however, I think there's like a 70% chance he retires. Win or lose. Oh no, I think if they lose, he comes back. I think if they win, they won't. Okay. I think if they win, 70% chance he retires.
Well, so this team, I haven't looked into their payments or caps and all that stuff. I'm not really that great at all that, but they're gonna have to pay a lot of people. A lot of people are ready to get paid or 1-year deals. They're gonna have to restructure some things. I just can't see them keeping everybody that they would want to probably keep going into the next season. I think they have to do it this year.
Yeah, but last year was supposed to be the rebuilding year for the Chiefs, and then they won the Super Bowl. And then this year was supposed to be the one where it's like, oh, like, watch out. Now we got everybody, and now they're back in the Super Bowl, having only lost 1 game this season. So, yeah, I don't know. Or, well, yeah, but
I count it. I count it. They lost 30-0.
Let's move on to the next position, and that is running back. The Chiefs have Kareem Hunt, Isaiah Pacheco, Samaje Perine, great name. And then the Eagles have Will Shipley, Kenneth Gainwell, and the Saint himself, Saquon Barkley. Dare I say, the greatest person to ever live.
Your father.
I've said in every game that Barkley's played, I've literally texted Casino, he is my father when he does.
In all caps.
Yeah.
No, to note, all caps, every single time.
And you know what? How many? So obviously the answer right here is the Eagles are better. I think Kenneth Gainwell, honestly, would probably be maybe the starter on the Chiefs. If because again, Isaiah Pacheco's had a rough year.
He would probably have half the snaps.
I would believe so. So I say obviously you put Saquon Barkley there. Will Shipley is a good third running back, even though he has no speed whatsoever.
No,
if you had to bet your life on it, and I will give all the money you have, Saquon Barkley in the Super Bowl, more or less than 2 touchdowns. You can either put 2 touchdowns or more, or 1 touchdown or less.
2.
You think he has 2?
Yeah,
I think so too.
Easily.
I think he has 2. I think he obviously has the one run a game where he just breaks one off.
He's gonna break one, and then they'll do one when they're on the goal line.
I agree. I think Saquon Barkley has 2. I would almost say that's like my prop bet lock of the Super Bowl. Is Saquon Barkley 2 touchdowns? Yeah.
You don't get fancy. This is what I'm saying. You don't get fancy. You go to your best players in that situation, whether it is going to be overtime or whatever. You're going to go to them. You're going to go to them. You put your best players in that situation. That's why last week we did the prop bets. You said whatever his face, the other tight end for KC was going to get the
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray, and I'm like, no, it's not, because you're going to go to your best players. You don't try something fancy. Because Noah Gray drops, it comes down to that, and Noah Gray drops one.
Then everybody's going to be like, why didn't you throw that to Kelsey?
Why didn't you throw it to Kelsey? They're not going to do that.
Yeah. No, I agree. Next up, Casino. So that one's obvious. The first 2 are obvious. The third one I also think is obvious. Wide receivers. Worthy, Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins for the Chiefs. And on the Eagles, it's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Jahan Dotson.
I mean, he is worthy of being the number 1 on the Chiefs. But shut up. I even changed it around a little bit. He is worthy. But then you got D-Hop and Hollywood Brown. Yes, Hollywood Brown coming back does open up the playbook after he came back from his injury. You get the slant routes a little bit better, and that really opens up Worthy and Hopkins downfield. But one of the best tandems in wide receiver football right now, NFL football, is A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, Dotson's a good third, but yeah, you're going to take Brown and Smith.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All day.
And again, also, your friend who was super high on DeAndre Hopkins coming to the Chiefs, where has DeAndre Hopkins been?
Yeah.
But I will say, I do feel like they're going to try to get him a touchdown in the Super Bowl, because it's one of those things where he's playing in his first Super Bowl. He's one of the best wide receivers in the past 5 years, even though he's kind of fallen off recently. But again, also, I feel like people forget Juju Smith-Schuster was the one last year who caused all that shit because he posted the thing on remember he posted the thing on Twitter where it was like the Valentine's Day card, and he said like I want to hold you or something like that, and it was the picture of Bradbury, and then AJ Brown was who go do your little TikTok dance, you're not a good player, just lit him up.
I don't think Juju is that great of a player.
I don't think he's a good player either, but also don't be surprised if Juju Smith-Schuster just gets absolutely laid out or annihilated by one CJ Gardner-Johnson, because I think that has a real chance of happening.
So
let me see if it fucks up our thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're plugged in. I don't think.
No, you're good.
I gotcha.
But next up, Casino. I think this one is a lot closer than people would care to admit. It is
closer, but it is going to go one way, and you know it.
Yeah. Tight end, Travis Kelce, Noah Gray for the Chiefs, Dallas Goedert, Grant Calcutta for the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's obviously the Chiefs and Kelce because of how much they use him. But
when Goddard gets hot, dude, there's games where he will just go off. So I remember this season. So the whenever I was at the Raiders versus Panthers game, earlier on, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Goddard went off on that game. And I was just saw his stats. Like, he's outstanding. So whenever they need to use him, I don't remember who you guys were playing, but whenever
it was the Saints. The Saints, he did the game-winning touchdown.
Whenever he goes off, dude, he goes off. And Goddard's great. I really like him, but you're gonna give the edge to Travis Kelce and Gray.
Yeah. Also, what is it when it comes to
different? I'm gonna add to this different roles though. You know,
yes,
because you're gonna throw those tight ends on that line to help more. Is it still fucked?
No, we're good.
To help more with that offensive line for that run game.
Yeah,
100%. You know, so they're utilizing them completely different.
Yeah, I think you can give the slight edge to the Chiefs just because Travis Kelce, even though he's having a rough year.
It's
but
more than a slight edge. Come on.
Well, no, because this is why. The slight edge, it's only a slight edge because guess who is the 30th ranked team against opposing tight ends? The Chiefs. So Dallas Goedert, I think he has a big game. I think Calcutta, he's diminished a little since Goddard came back from injury, but I still think he's a good number 2. So I think Goddard, honestly, I think both of them have a big game. I think both of them do. Next up, let's just go offensive line as a whole. The Chiefs have Joe Thuney, Mike Caliendo. I love his impressions. Creed Humphreys at center, Trey Smith at right guard, Jawan Taylor right tackle. Eagles have Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, Cam Jurgens, Mikael Becton, and then Lane Johnson. So who are you picking in this one, Casino?
Oh man, I'm still going to go the Eagles. I know I think we have the same thing up, the Fox Sports site.
No, I'm looking at something different.
It looks identical to what we're talking about. I do think I love Joe Thuney, and that might be me being biased because he played for the Patriots and I saw how good he was there. I think out of both of those offensive lines, I would take Joe Thuney out of everybody personally. And I do know that Dickerson and Jurgens, Dickerson with his knee, Jurgens with his back, they are, it's going to be a little iffy.
Yes.
Little iffy, but I would say if they are able to go at least at 90%, which I'm not sure even if they're there, but they're going to play. They're going to play as best as they can. The Eagles have the edge. I'm worried about their health. I'll say that.
Yes.
But that's where you'll bring in the 2 tight ends, and you can make that work on that offensive line.
Well, so there's injury concerns, obviously, on both sides. So the center with Dickerson and Jurgens on the Eagles, they were obviously having issues. They were switching in and out in that Commanders game. With the Chiefs, however, what is it? Thuney is being moved. Thuney, is being moved to left tackle, and Caliendo is his replacement at guard, who is one of the lowest rated offensive linemen in the league.
I would say that's worrisome for the Chiefs, but also Joe Thuney can play anywhere.
Well, no, I'm not worried about Thuney, especially when you move into left tackle. However, Caliendo, who's the replacement guard in the middle, is going to have to try to block Jalen Carter, which I feel like, again, the last time we saw a Super Bowl where the Chiefs offensive line was banged up and they were moving guys around, they played against the Bucks and they got absolutely manhandled and annihilated.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think that the Eagles line is going to have trouble with Chris Jones?
Well, no, because in the first Super Bowl, he was a non-factor. So, again, it all comes down to health.
With that line is being a little beat up, do you think Chris Jones can get to him?
No.
Okay.
I think Chris Jones at most puts pressure on, maybe has 1 sack, but isn't a game breaker. I feel like Jalen Carter, on the other hand, could break this game wide open, especially when he's playing against a replacement who's not too good to begin with.
That's fair.
So then we're running out of time here. I don't want to go too long. So let's just go. When it comes to defensive line.
I'm good. My mom doesn't have to go anywhere to watch the other kids. She did that yesterday. We got time. So it's whenever you need to get to edit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But when it comes to the Eagles and Chiefs defensive lines, you look at, I don't have it up in front of me, all the names, but when you look at Jalen Carter and Chris Jones of it all, in this matchup, Casino, who do you think has the bigger upside? The Chiefs or the Eagles defensive lines?
The defensive lines?
Yes.
I'm going to probably say the Chiefs because they're going to get away with a lot of holding calls.
Well, yeah. And also
They perfected that.
yes, they have perfected that. And Jalen Carter never gets holds called on him. So I feel like you're gonna is win or lose after this game, you're gonna be able to put a 10-minute video compilation of like these are all the holds that weren't called, which I guess good. Like, I don't know if we want calls on every again. Just let them play unless it's absolutely egregious.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. Yeah. I mean, Eagles should have the edge on all of this because they are a better run stopping team over the Chiefs. As you said, the Chiefs are 24th. It looks like you're saying that the Eagles are 14th. So yeah, on paper, I am a little worried though about the offensive line injuries. Stop being able to stop Chris Jones and the rest of them. Karlaftis, Donna, whatever his name.
For who?
Mike, Dana.
I don't know.
Chiefs.
Wharton. Yeah. Well, then also George Karlaftis on the Chiefs, he was kind of like how Kelsey is, where during the regular season, he's not as good as you would expect him to be. And then he kind of turns it on in the playoffs. And I believe he has the most sacks of any player in the playoffs throughout this entire playoff. So obviously you have to kind of give them the edge on defensive exterior, but I feel like on the interior, I feel like I would take Jalen Carter and what he's been doing this playoffs over what Chris Jones has been doing this playoffs. Even though, again, Chris Jones, if you're doing the draft, you're taking him third just based on name alone. But then again, I think you're taking Jalen Carter fourth. So then, Casino, we moved to linebackers. Obviously, the notable names on defense for the linebackers is Nick Bolton with the Chiefs, and then with the Eagles, it is Nolan Smith Jr., it's Zach Bond, it's that whole rebuilt linebacker unit. Who are you taking when it comes to the linebackers? I think I am too. Oh, yeah, God.
I mean, Bond himself is
the
just
Eagles
outstanding.
Should win this game.
Yeah,
you go position by position. The Eagles should win this game.
He was first. I'm reading it here, but this is not just because I'm reading because I've seen him do it all season. So yeah, named a first team All Pro. Bond had 151 tackles, 5 forced fumbles, 4 pass breakups, 3.5 sacks in the regular season. Like he's playing really really good, dude. So yeah,
God, yeah. They should win.
Yeah, because
this game.
So I mean, are you agreeing to take the Eagles? So let's just let's just continue going here. Let's get to the cornerbacks, and I'll tell you right now, I'm going to take the Eagles as well. Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean, Mitchell, outstanding. I have nothing against McDuffie, Watson, or Connor. Like they're all good. They're all good.
Well, McDuffie and Watson are two of the best corners in the league. But again, if we're just basing off this season, which why would we base it on anything else?
No, I think McDuffie might be the best corner in the league this year.
Yes, but also Darius Slay Jr., Quentin Mitchell. Why am I blanking on his name? You just said it.
Darius Slay, Mitchell,
Cooper DeJean, and Quinton Mitchell are two of the highest rated corners in the entire league, and they're rookies. I've also seen like the discussions about this game where it's like, oh, well, Mahomes and Reed are going to want to attack those two rookie corners. And then it's just like, no, he doesn't. No. He wants to stay away from them. Yeah. And Quinton Mitchell, I'm sorry, has the best percentage of beating like the best players in the league.
Nobody's passing against him because you can't pass against Mitchell. You just can't.
Yeah, and then also Darius Slay, last year he looked a little washed, and then all of a sudden this year he came back and he's just, I mean, he had that great like no-look interception against the Commanders where he just caught it over his back shoulder. He's looked rejuvenated, especially now where he's playing, opposite two young guys who are bringing out the best of him. So again, and then you also throw in the safeties. So then you throw in
so corners, going Eagles. Yes. Safeties, let's get to them. Continue.
So with safeties, you obviously have to throw in Reed Blankenship, the other half of the exciting whites, and then CJ Gardner-Johnson, who I think, again, he's not the best defensive player on the field, but in terms of what he brings, where Receivers are scared to catch balls over the middle because they know he'll lay the hammer on them. He has great ball hawk skills where he is, if you let that ball stay in the air for even a second longer than it should, he comes in. Reed Blankenship, it's just become a joke that like every Eagles game ends with him like a game sealing interception. And then obviously on the Chiefs, they have Justin Reed and Byron Cook.
They're good.
Again,
But
Justin Reed's great.
But they're not Gardner Johnson or Blankenship to get like that tandem together is better than Reed and Cook.
Yes. So I think the main difference between the first time these Eagles and Chiefs played and the second time, this defense completely revamped. Every position, I think you can argue, is better defensively for the Eagles than the Chiefs. And again, Mahomes is at a rough year. In terms of what he's done in the past statistically, I think he has a rough game. I really do. I think this is much closer a game to the game they played against the Bucs. What?
We'll get to it in a second.
So it's a much closer game in my eyes to what they played against the Bucs than what they played against the Eagles or the 49ers both times. And then also kicker, obviously you're taking Harrison Butker over Jake Elliott because Jake Elliott.
So on Fox Sports, like, this is what I'm reading. It's the roster breakdown and who has the edge, Chiefs or Eagles, and break down by position, right? So quarterback, this is what they have. Quarterback, Chiefs. Running back, Eagles. Wide receiver, Eagles. Tight end, Chiefs. Offensive line, they said Chiefs, and that's mainly just because of the injuries.
Yeah.
But it does state on here if they were healthy, definitely Eagles.
Yes.
So we'll see how that plays out. Defensive line, Eagles. Linebackers, Eagles. Cornerback, Eagles. Special safeties, Eagles. Specialists, Chiefs. Overall roster, and this is where it kills me. Obviously, it's gonna they say the Chiefs have the edge, and this is it. But the Eagles entered this season with this is Fox Sports season with one of the NFL's most talented rosters, and came across in this comparison. On paper, Philadelphia Eagle edges Kansas City in more position groups, including every level on defense. But the Chiefs have the edge in the position that matters most, quarterback. And the health concerns for the Eagles could open up opportunities for Kansas City defense to get to them. So they gave
none of that shocking. That all sounds what everybody says.
That plus Mahomes' greatness makes the Chiefs hard to bet against. Overall edge, Chiefs.
Oh, Lord. So now we've come to it, Casino. We're at the end of the show. That's all we had to cover. Also, the last one was coaching. Would you like to guess what?
I'll be honest, I would take Reed over Sirianni.
Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously. Yeah. But would you like to guess what Nick Sirianni's coaching win-loss percentages?
I know you told me that whole thing against Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid in general, but I would still take Reid. So his percentage, what'd you say?
Yes, his winning percentage as a head coach for the Eagles. He's been a head coach for 4 years.
For the Eagles?
Well, he's only ever been a head coach for the Eagles.
The one bad season, 78%.
Close. He has a 700% win percentage. So he has a record of 48-20. Altogether, if you want to include the playoffs as well, add another 5 to that. So he is basically 53-23 as a head coach.
And that's about 70, would you say?
That is almost, it's 70% basically.
Even with the playoff wins?
Yes. Okay. So it's a little over 70. He's probably got a 71% in the regular season, postseason, 71% win percentage.
By the way, my buddy who watches this show, he wanted me to tell you last week when you said minus 1,000 for the odds, it would be 10 cents, not $1. You bet $1, you don't win $1, you win 10 cents.
Oh, yeah, I was messing all those numbers up, but I was like, it's
but
he
did reach out to you. I love it on days that he listens. Shout out to you, buddy. Days that he
just sends in notes.
He's just sending not even notes, but he's just sending just like 5 or 6 messages every show, just about laughing about what you said or what I said.
Yeah,
it's great.
Well, also, I've already warned people on this show, never take my betting advice. So that's Saquon Barkley 2 touchdowns.
I'm afraid to walk outside today.
No, it is. Yeah, if you can hear the wind outside, it is.
But you only see that out that window. I'm looking out this side.
Oh, and it's just a massacre.
Oh yeah, I think I just saw one of the a dust storm, literally a swirl happen go through that backyard over there.
But yeah, so when it comes to coaches, obviously you pick Andy Reid, but again, Nick Sirianni, I think everybody, including myself, is wrong about you. The winning percentage, people, again, there's always clips of like the team being like, the players on it being like, we love him, blah, blah, blah. So here's the end of the show, Casino. Moment of truth. I want who you think's winning the Super Bowl and the final score. If you are not ready, I will go.
Go.
I am picking, this may shock you, the first time the Eagles and Chiefs played, I picked the Eagles because of loyalty to my team. I was worried about their defense. They played the most cupcake quarterback schedule that entire season, right? But they had a great pass rush. Now their pass rush is a little bit worse, but everything else on their defense is infinitely better, including the coordinator. The Eagles, I've said it multiple times throughout this season, the Eagles have been the best team in this league more weeks than they haven't been, right? In terms of after that 2-2 start, they went on the winning streak. The Commanders game's the only loss they've had since then, and that loss obviously was fluky because they were up 21-7 before Hurts got knocked out. You go position by position.
Don't matter. Eagles, they don't have the position that matters.
Yeah, exactly. The Eagles have the edge and everything, and even when it comes to quarterback, it's the number 1 quarterback against the number 5 quarterback in the league. There's no argument there. He's a top 5 quarterback in this league. If you want to put anybody against him, I'll show you their playoff record against Hurts. The Eagles are going to win this game, Casino. Not only are they going to win it, this is my final score projection. They're going to win it 31-21. I'm calling it right now. 31-21 Eagles. They win this game, and we have a great show on Tuesday or on Sunday night. Definitely come back for an entertaining show, one way or the other. Your thoughts?
I want to pick the Eagles. I don't. Dude, I'm just so nervous because every time I picked against the Chiefs, I do the reverse jinx. Would you be upset if I didn't do the reverse jinx and I
No, you're not coming to this game, so you can't jinx us again. You can't by leaving halfway out. Also, I will not be mad if you pick the Chiefs because everybody and their brother's picking the Chiefs.
I truly don't think the Chiefs are going to win this game, but I can see them winning the game because of everything that goes on and the controversy that they've had all season.
The football gods are mighty gods, and after what happened in that Bills-Chiefs game, there's no way they reward. There's no way they reward the Chiefs with history.
The Eagles should win this game.
Yes.
The Eagles should win this game,
and they will.
The Eagles should win this game.
But you're picking the Chiefs.
No, I'm going to pick the Eagles. I'm going to pick the Eagles.
Okay. Score.
24-28.
24-28. Ooh, I like that. I could even see 31-24. I'll tell you what, if it's 31-24 and we both get half of the score right, that'll be cool. But also, last note on this,
the Eagles have to win this fucking game. Yeah.
Do you think, last bit on this game, we just made our predictions. We're both picking the Eagles with slightly different scores. What do you think the league reaction to all the controversy the past 2 weeks for the Buffalo, what do you think it's going to be? Do you think they do? Because remember, in the Eagles-Patriots game, the discussion for those 2 weeks was, what is a catch? What is not a catch? What is a catch? So in the Super Bowl, they just let everything be a fucking catch. Every single thing. They just let them play.
They need to let them play, or even if they don't let them play, they need to set the tone from the beginning on what's going to be called, what's not going to be called. And that was the issue that they didn't do in the last Super Bowl between the Eagles and the Chiefs, because they let these little ticky-tack holdings go, and then they didn't when it mattered. And that's why I love watching hockey, and I talk about it all the time. I do this comparison. They set the tone from the very beginning, and you know what you're going to get for the remainder of that game.
Yes, which they should honestly do more in football.
And I would say and sometimes where they have it set and then it's like, okay, why'd you call that one? It's rare. It's like 95% of the time. And then when it's happened in the NHL, you know what's happened? All of the refs in hockey, when that happens, they don't ever get to be in a postseason, in a playoff game anymore. So there was a whole thing a few years back. Remember when the Golden Knights had the whole thing where it was the 4 goals in the 4 minutes, and it was the major.
Yeah.
So those refs, they got suspended, and then refs the next game got suspended against the Blues. It was like they were trying to help the Sharks, but every single game, the NHL was just like, nope, you guys were horrible. You don't ever get to ref another playoff game. You are suspended from reffing playoff games for the remainder of your career.
Where in the NFL, they'd be like, you can actually ref more now.
Yeah.
You can ref more playoff games. You want to do the Super Bowl?
Yeah. Anyway, that was a little tangent on that. And I just let them play, set the tone early on what is a foul, what's not a foul, what's going to be called, what's not going to be called, and stick fucking to it.
Are they going to
because then you can adjust the game around that.
Yeah. Are they going to call holding? Are they going to let that Chiefs offensive lineman do the jump? Are they going to let Lane Johnson do the jump? Like, that's what it really comes down to. But also, Casino, I don't know if you saw or not, but within the past couple days, the prices for these Super Bowl tickets have dropped by over 50%.
Yeah.
If you're going to the Super Bowl, obviously there's the whole ban the Super Bowl, or not ban, boycott the Super Bowl, don't watch it. So I really do think, obviously, now again, we always talk about this. This league is about money, right? Every sports league's their number one goal is money. So now, because of the choices they have made in terms of calls, in terms of how they call games, refs they put on certain games, now they're losing money because of it. Okay. And they can see the direct correlation.
You want to know how they're going to fix this? Chiefs win the Super Bowl, and then Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get married on the field.
See, but I think how they fix it is they go the opposite, where they don't call fucking anything. Chiefs lose by 10, and then they don't say this out loud, but quietly they sit back in the shadows and they just go, "Are you happy now? Like, you happy? Like, this is we didn't let the Chiefs win. We didn't give them any calls." Again, I don't think that will come outright and say it, but
do you think that's going to happen?
I think there will be no calls in this game. That's how I think it's going to be played. I think you're going to see egregious
after the Bills game,
yes,
where it was clearly a first down both times.
Yes. And they're marking, I mean, I saw this one where James Cook gets an 11-yard run. They knock it down as a 9-yard run, so it's a 2-and-1 instead of first down. Like, that one was weird. So I legitimately think this game, it's going to be the complete opposite of the Bills game, where people are going to be shouting, "I can't believe they didn't call that," instead of, "I can't believe they did." But I think it's going to be for both sides. I legitimately think they're just going to let them play.
I would love that.
I would too. Let them play. Again, unless it's
football.
Well, unless it's, a deep bomb down the field and you're just tackling the guy before the ball. Like, that's the egregious stuff where it's like, yeah, obviously call it. But where it's like holding,
so the Falcons game?
Yeah, basically. And yeah. Anything else to add before we get out of here?
No, I should probably go.
Yeah. This has been the Only Sports Podcast. You'll either see a very happy me, a very sad me, or a very angry me on Sunday after the Super Bowl.
What's new?
Yeah, so same old. But yeah, this has been the Only Sports Podcast, the Super Bowl edition, the super show, Super Bowl edition. We're about to be blown
Dude, this whole place is shaking.
Yeah. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. If we're not blown away, we'll see you Sunday night for the Super Bowl, and then Tuesday, obviously, for me and Casino to talk about it.
We might do it live again.
We'll do it live. Oh, we are doing it live. Now Tuesdays, we're doing our live shows. Thursdays, we're obviously doing it in person. Sundays, we're just doing it like the old days. So this has been the Only Sports Podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. We'll see you on Sunday after the Super Bowl. Go Eagles. Fly Eagles fly. EAGLES Eagles. Or how did that mayor spell it? ELGAS Eagles. Adios.
Duval.